Welcome to the Grassroots Weekend Preview. I'm your host, Alyssa Longmuir. Another weekend of sporting action is in the books, so let's start the recap with the AIHL. The Sydney Bears had a big weekend in the Australian Ice Hockey League. Saturday's game against the CBR Brave saw the Bears enter the third period down 1-0, then tallied 3 goals in the final frame for a dominant 3-1 win. This form continued over to Sunday's game, with the Bears taking a 1-0 lead over the Melbourne Ice into the first intermission. However, the game was unable to be finished due to a fire that broke out in the speaker system above the ice surface. The AIHL are working with both teams to reschedule the game. Melbourne Ice were able to complete one game on the weekend, as Saturday saw them taking on the Newcastle North Stars at the Hunter Ice Skating Stadium. Newcastle dealt the visitors the first blow of the night, putting a goal on the board 45 seconds before the end of the first period. Period 2, however, was all Melbourne Ice, tallying 3 goals, including a double from Victor Gibshadeen. The North Stars answered back in the third frame, putting 2 pucks in the back of the net to force the game to a shootout. Melbourne Ice came out on top, sinking all 3 shots in the shootout to take away the extra point. Newcastle headed south on Sunday to face the CBR Brave in the Brave Cave home opener for the 2017 season. The teams entered the first intermission with the score tied 1-1. However, it was the Canberra side that found their offensive stride in the second period, putting 3 behind the Newcastle goaltender Nick Mitson to draw out a 4-1 lead. The North Stars replied in the final period, scoring 4 goals, including a hat-trick from newcomer Zane Jones. Canberra also put another puck in the net, and with the scores tied at 5-5 at the end of regulation, they went to shootout. After 6 rounds, Newcastle import Matt Morantz was the difference maker, allowing his team to return home with an extra point in their first shootout win of the season. The Sydney Ice Dogs travelled across to Adelaide to face the Adrenaline in a doubleheader clash. Despite Adelaide's star forward Cameron Critchlow getting them on the board early, the Ice Dogs had a reply for every move on the ice and entered the third period with a 2-1 lead. The Adrenaline tied the game midway through the final frame, but it wouldn't prove to be enough on the night, with the Ice Dogs sinking an empty net goal to take the 4-2 win. Sunday's game saw a very tight first 2 periods between the teams, with the Adrenaline and the Ice Dogs scoreless at the end of the first and tied 1-1 at the end of the second period. However, Adrenaline turned on the afterburners in the final frame, and the Ice Dogs took 8 penalties throughout the third period. However, the Adrenaline were only able to capitalise once, with another goal coming short-handed and 2 at even strength to take out the 5-2 win in a dominant performance by the home side. After 3 weeks of competition, Melbourne Ice have taken over the top of the table with 8 points. CBR Brave are in second, also with 8 points. Perth Thunder dropped to third after not seeing any action this weekend, still on 7 points. And the Newcastle North Stars round out the top 4, also with 7 points. Looking ahead to this weekend, the Sydney Bears will head west to face Perth Thunder in a doubleheader weekend, while Melbourne will see their first derby of the season, with the Mustangs hosting the Ice on Saturday. Adelaide will venture to Sydney on Saturday to take on the Ice Dogs in their third straight meeting before heading to Melbourne on the Sunday to play the Mustangs. The North Stars return to Canberra to play CBR Brave on the Saturday before heading to Sydney on Sunday to face the Ice Dogs. Looking at Gridiron now, the 2017 Colts and Women's Vic Bowl is taking place at Rangers Field in Croydon, Victoria on Saturday morning. A junior varsity game will open the day's festivities at 9:30am, followed by the Colts Vic Bowl at 11am, where the Southeastern Predators will face the Western Crusaders. The Women's Vic Bowl will round out the day with kickoff scheduled for 3pm, with the Croydon Rangers taking on Melbourne University. A canteen will be operating all day and there will be a bar service after 1pm. Head to our Facebook page for more information. Round 3 of the Hunter Gridiron League is in the books. The Newcastle City Cannons decimated the Port Stephens Bombers with a final score of 52-0, while the Hunter Valley Miners got their first points of the season, drawing with the Lake Macquarie Marauders 6-6. After 3 weeks of competition, the Cannons have moved up the rankings and sit at the top of the ladder with 4 points. The Bombers are in second place, also with 4 points, and the Marauders sit in third place with 3 points, while the Miners are in fourth place on 1 point following their draw on the weekend. The Hunter Gridiron League will be back at Walters Park on Sunday with a special Mother's Day twist. All the players will be decked out in pink, and every person who attends will receive a Tackle Breast Cancer Hunter Gridiron League t-shirt for their gold coin donation upon entry. From 11am there will be food and music, along with a special section for the ladies, with wine available for those over 18. The Lake Macquarie Marauders will kick off against the Port Stephens Bombers at 12pm, and the Hunter Valley Miners will take on the Newcastle City Cannons at 2pm. For more information, head head to our Facebook page or go to www.huntergridiron.com. The East Coast Invitational is taking place this weekend. As the newest roller derby tournament in Australia, the East Coast Invitational gives all teams across the country the opportunity to compete against each other across 2 divisions. This year's tournaments will see participation from clubs across all states and territories along the East Coast. Doors will open at the Niagara Park Stadium in Gosford at 9 a.m. on both the Saturday and the Sunday. Head over to our Facebook page for more information. That's it for this week's weekend preview. Don't forget to connect with us on social media at Grassroots_AU on Twitter, at Grassroots_sports on Instagram, and at Grassroots Sports on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Friday for another Grassroots Weekend Preview.